Welcome to Real Estate Riches, where Kathy Burns empowers realtors to achieve the success they've always dreamed of. Starting her career at 55, Kathy built a thriving business that offers the freedom of time and financial independence. And now she's sharing her journey to help others do the same. Whether new to the industry or looking to level up, this channel is your hub for proven strategies, inspiring stories, and the tools you need to grow your real estate business. Join Kathy each week to explore global opportunities, successful systems, and expert insights to take your career to the next level. Get comfortable, pick a video, and start learning. Your journey to success starts now.
Hey everybody, it's Kathy Burns here on Real Estate Riches, and I am with Frank Montrow, who's just told me, watch out, this is going to be so much fun. I love that kind of attention. So Frank, how are you?
I am groovy. And by the way, you're welcome to address me by my nickname, which is the King of the South Side, because I've closed so many houses in the South Side. And back in 2002, I had a friend in the industry come down and see what I was doing. And he's on the video on YouTube. If you go way back in the beginning of time, 2002, you can see he goes, "Oh my God, I'm here with the King of the South Side." So now I do a lot of public speaking. So Kathy, when I get on stage, I'm introduced as King of the South Side. I'm like, and I have a crown. I could have worn it today. I have a crown. I had to run a basement crown and a velvet cape as well too. So what do you call it? One of those sticks or whatever. Yeah, I can play the role. I can play the role. But yeah, so if you're looking to move property in the Chicagoland area on the South Side, the King is here, baby.
The King. And we are here to learn from the King, man.
Yeah.
Frank, I went on your website and I did a little homework on you, and I feel like you're a man of passion for people who need help.
So let me talk to my realtor audience that's here.
Yeah.
It is not about the money.
That's right.
So I just happen to be a born again Christian. You don't have to do that. I'm not here to preach. I'm just telling, if people want to know how I'm wired, why I do what I do, it's because of my faith. Mm-hmm. So I don't need things to go my way to be happy. I was asked today in my team meeting, what makes you happy? I said, waking up. These two things open up. I've already trained my mind, and I want to encourage agents. This is a time where you're going to learn to grow, or you're going to go. You're going to grow or go. When I pray in the morning, I'm like, make it as hard as possible, Father, because that's where I grow. I don't want easy. Remember, Kathy, the post-COVID nonsense, how easy you just sit there with a bucket. And then, I love, Kathy, I love when I see these agents online, all of a sudden, oh, the Lord has blessed me because of my hard work. I'm like, come on, man. You haven't closed more than 5 deals in the 15 years I know you. You're lazy, and you're taking advantage of this low interest rate run. I said, let's see what happens when the government stops buying MBSs and the rates go back up to the real normal. And so those people are no longer, those people are out of the game completely.
They're out of the game.
Yeah, I got so much to talk about. So listen, you agents that have come in during post-COVID, you come in when it's easy. I don't envy you. I came in back 43 years ago when interest rates were 14.5%, Kathy. I had to grind. I had to crawl for business. It made me what I am today. You folks out there that have come in where you're just holding a bucket and just people are falling in your lap and checks are falling in your lap. That's not real estate. That's not what real estate is about. Real estate is about delayed gratification. Real estate is about consistency. I don't care what lead generation you do. First and foremost, every top producer in the Chicagoland area that I know and across the country that I know, we all do the same thing. We prospect. I'm 43. I'm still prospecting. It's in my blood. I can't stop. I'm in line at Starbucks. I'm talking to people. What do you do for a living? What do you do? And of course, I'm a little bit cray-cray, so I get away with maybe a little bit more than you non-high Ds can. So, okay, let's continue. Look, what I would recommend agents in the industry to do is find 3 things that you like to do, prospecting, and then also throw one in that you don't like to do, because that's when you grow, when you stretch yourself. And let me explain something else. I said, Kathy, what do you think people make decisions are based on? 95% of our decisions are based on our feelings at that moment, right? Would you agree?
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
So here's the problem. Okay, so look, I'll give you a real life example. Okay, I was out of control with my weight, just didn't care about it, wasn't paying attention to it. I'm like, yeah, hey, like I'm successful in all these areas. And then I just realized, hey, I'm going to kill myself.
Yeah.
So that was enough. That was a wake up call about a year ago, Kathy. So I scaled up to 393.
Ooh.
And today I got on the scale. I'm a year later, I'm 298.4. So yay. But you know what? That wasn't eating healthy one meal. That was consistently eating healthy. And then once in a while I trip and make a mistake. But 99% of the time, I'm on it. So it's a consistent hard work over time.
Well,
I've got to work out and I got to eat healthy.
Yeah,
you know?
consistent. It's key. Consistent.
Isn't it? Wouldn't you agree? Wouldn't you find the same thing in your business? That consistency is probably the number one thing. I mean, without
consistency, tenacity.
I love it.
Open-mindedness, so that you're willing to grow. Right.
I love it.
Constantly
And another thing is open-mindedness with opportunities.
Yes.
So I was talking to so here's an example. I go in, and this is in my area. So, to all my other realtors across the country, you may or may not be experiencing this. In Chicago, specifically Chicago, and in the Cook County, they're running a deficit with a budget, millions of dollars of deficits in a budget. So they're looking to find money. So what they're doing, Kathy, is they're coming in and astronomically jacking the taxes up, as if we don't have enough issues going on, right? So now the south suburbs got hammered, or the west suburbs got hammered, and now this year, 2025, the south side is going to get hammered. So here's the opportunity, though. Okay, bad stuff, right? All right, that sucks. That's horrible. Whoa. So like I told my team, wait a minute. So I always look for opportunities. So over my 43 years, I have a shift mindset. I two things I tell my agents every day, and you need to drill this in your head. This needs to be in your subconscious, guys. Number one is you need to constantly be asking for referrals. And number two is you need to constantly be looking for opportunities, because there's always different markets you're going to be working in. There's different scenarios that you'll be put in. And there's also the market in general is constantly shifting. Right. And very rarely, Kathy, very rarely do I see a market at an absolute standstill. There'll be times like when post-COVID was, and the government just kept buying mortgages, and banks are like, okay, I don't need to charge 7%. I go down below 3% because the government's going to back my securities. They're going to literally pay for any foreclosures. I don't need to charge these rates. And and there's so much business now. We're going to hire all these loan officers, and we're going to hire, the mortgage companies are like, hey, let's go. We're doing all these refis, all this crazy stuff. So they've created a whole nother problem for us. Now you got all these people that say, hey, these rates are crazy now. Well, they're actually normal.
Yeah.
The Fannie Mae 30-year average is 7.74%. Don't talk to me about interest rates, y'all. Some of your credit cards are at 30%. Don't talk to me about interest rates.
Yeah.
Some of your car payments are running at 8 to 12%. Don't talk to me about 7%, when the national average was 7.74%. Man, come play with me, man. Let's get back in a time machine where rates were 14.5%, and we didn't have computers. We didn't have great people like Kathy doing podcasts and helping you learn. I had myself, and I had a rotary phone, and I had the white pages. So I call the white pages. And so you want to know what hard work really is, by the way, too? It's not post-COVID waiting for people to walk in the room. It's what I did, Kathy. I had a very good job working as an accountant for Arthur Andersen in Houston, Texas. And I just decided, I've got no business being an accountant. I mean, in case you all haven't figured out,
well, I was going to say that doesn't go for your personality at all.
Yeah, no, I didn't know, but nobody told me till after I got out, read a DISC test, and I took. So, hey, agents, okay, huge lesson here.
I know where you're going.
You know where I'm going. You know exactly where I'm going, Kathy. Go get your personality test. Look, I do it with every agent that comes on my team, and so if I got a high D, they're going to work with sellers and investors. If I have a high I, then they're going to work with buyers. If I have a high S, high C. See ya, because you belong. Your seat is an admin. So
Yeah.
you are get out of the real estate world, because every high SC I've hired, Kathy, they haven't failed. They've epically failed. Epically, not because they're bad or because they're terrible. It's
They're
because
sad.
they are wired to do admin work, and they're excellent admins. One of them I ended up making an admin.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. Well,
crazy.
whenever I would hire an admin, I'd give them the disc profile. And that was part of they had to go to TonyRobbins.com /
Yeah,
get it free.
that's free. Yeah,
And I would say, submit that with your resume. And if they weren't a C,
love it. Yeah.
they weren't in. I didn't care.
Yeah,
what they
yeah.
said.
I mean, really, D's are the best. I's talk too much. And, I mean, all the top producing agents are D's. So
Yeah.
when I get a D, I'm like, I roll out the red carpet. What's your favorite meal? Let's go out, But,
Yeah.
high I's.
Because they're going to drive.
Yeah. Now, let me ask you, do you find like a high I? I find this out here. High I's don't like the cold call. They hate the cold call.
That's me. I hate
Right?
it. I friggin' hate it. I haven't done it.
So this could be a really interesting conversation between you and me, because I look for different venues for the high I's. What type of process? I said you need a minimum of 3, preferably 4 roads of prospecting, and then you got to build your database. But how do you get business? I mean, obviously this
I'm a member of BNI, Business Network International, which is a networking, and I've been a member since 2008. That has brought me so much business. But I'm also a nurturer. One of the things that I did, if you've ever heard of send out cards, I created a card that said, I want to be known as the connector, because that's an high I style. So I got a card, and every month it goes out and it says, I got a guy or a gal. And on the inside left of the card, because it's a card I do online, but I send it through US mail. So people open it. So, and it's a nice shiny card, and it says that nice blue cover on the front with I got a guy or a gal. And they open it up. On the left-hand side, it says all about whatever vendor, which is usually one of my BNI guys, that I'm featuring. Then on the right-hand side, I say, hey, this is my monthly card where I feature somebody I know and trust, and I'm not paid for this. If you don't need somebody like this, maybe someone you know does. And if you need something else, I probably have a guy. And if I don't have a guy, I got a guy who's got a guy. That's
I love it. Yeah.
First paragraph. And then I ask for referrals, because that's how I ask for them in there.
I love it, man. Why not?
And then the back is branded.
And so, Kathy, here's how I ask for referrals. So, yeah, I'm very similar. We're identical. So I come from excessive value. So I'm always like, if I'm talking to a buyer in general, I'm trying to feel them out. I'm like, hey, I have 0 down programs, grant programs, credit repair. We have off-market inventory. We have inventory that I have like a group of wholesalers on my team. We get a lot of inventory off-market. So I said, when you work with my team, you have access to that. You will not if you work with other agents. Is that of value to you? Can you say, So then I always want to give them at least 3 options. Which one of those options makes sense to you? Because, there's a little psychology. Whenever we close, we're just talking about this. Another thing, agents, if you haven't read the book, Exactly What to Say by Phil Jones, it is the Bible. It is the Bible of real estate. You need to get that, incorporate that in your sales tactic. Kathy, are you with me? Kathy?
Yes. And you know what? The best way to do it is an Audible. You're out driving all day long anyway. That's your college education.
No doubt, man. Yeah, great thing. Great call, man. Yeah, I do Audible. My number 1 loan officer does Audible. I mean, I'm obsessed with self-improvement every morning, Kathy. So, you'll see. And for you agents, if you want to be a top producer, there's no magic. There's certain things that we all do. Now, we may be in different markets. We may work with I work with investors. I know some top guns that work with buyers, some sellers, or combination of all of the above. So you need to find out what you love doing.
Yeah.
And then you need to get your prospecting down, and then you need to get your CRM down, and you need to build your passive long-term business. Because that's the great thing, Kathy, I'm sure as you would agree, is when the market gets rough like this. Yesterday I got 2 call-in for listings. Today I got 1, and then I got a new investor. I'm like, hey, how did you hear about me? Oh man, everybody knows you're the king of the South Side, So I'm ready to buy in the South, I'm like, perfect. I got a bunch of off-market inventory. He goes, oh man, great, let's go. I'm cash buyer. So, these are the things the top producers, they don't, when we're asking, we first set a stage of extreme value. We're coming from a place of giving. So we're giving you all this excessive value. And then you might be thinking, well, yeah, I could probably maybe I'll move, maybe I'm going to sell in the spring or whatever. But, I got other friends that can use your value. And that's what we want to draw out of them. I just say, hey, if you had to think about it, can you think of anyone that would be interested in buying, selling, investing, and taking advantage of the value that I bring? So I would, and you can see them. So what I love to do is disarm them. So I go, Kathy, if you had to think about it, then I pause. And then I see you just drop your shield and you kind of like, who's going to ask me, kind of look. And then I throw the value out, because when you come from value, people are going to want to do business with you. People do business with, what I've learned over the years, Kathy, they're going to do business with me if they like me or if they think I'm the best of the best. Some of my investors don't necessarily like me because I'm so direct, but they respect me. And I don't want them to like me because I got to keep them in place, because those son of a guns will cut corners and do all kinds of goofy stuff. So I'm trying to say this without swearing. I'm here to keep them in line. And sometimes it ain't pretty. And I'm not looking, when it comes to my investors, I'm not looking for a popularity contest. I'm looking to help them get the highest return on their investment in the shortest period of time. And that's what they want. So that's what I'm getting them. And if they're deviating because they're getting greedy, then I'm there to punch them in the face and wake them up. So,
well, that's your integrity. That's your integrity. And if they know that up front, then they're also going to respect it, because you said, hey, my integrity is a core value. This is where we're going. You want to deviate. No, I'm going to pull you right back.
Yeah, that's exactly right. That's why even some of these people may cringe and may be afraid of me when they see the phone ring, because they know a lot of times when I'm calling, it's not going to be pretty, because I see something that's going wrong and that's going to hurt both of us and hurt our brands. And I'm going to protect. I protect the brand first and foremost. When I look to hire someone, the number one thing I look at is integrity. And so I will question you 1,000 times, asking you 1,000 times the same question till you finally talk. I'm going to wear you down till you finally tell me who you are and what you want.
Yeah.
No, I just want to come in here and basically steal your clients and leave in a year. Is that okay? Let me get back to you on that. Yeah, I'll get right back to you on that. I got to take this call. So, bye-bye. But you want to learn and you want to train yourself to come from value. So what I would do today, if you're an agent, is take your personality test, is create a value proposition of what you provide for a buyer, for a seller, for an investor. Determine who you really are. The personality test doesn't lie. It's like, I'm a high D. Frank's got to be Frank. If the king of the South Side tries to be the king of the North Side or the king of Detroit or something, Frank ain't being Frank. I got to do me. And when I do me is when the magic happens, is when my energy flows, is when my passion flows, is when I come to life. I was going to retire back around 15 years ago. And then I say, let's just retire. I had a great run, blah, 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 blah. My wife's like, well, you're going to be dead in a year. I'm like, wait, what? And she goes, you're too connected to this. This is, and she's right.
You are.
See, what I believe is that I was put together for a reason by God, by Jesus Christ. And I believe that I have a divine purpose. I'm not doing this for the money. I'm doing this to provide excessive value to others and to put them in a better place. And I do get paid in the process very well. But my main purpose, my drive is to help others. And with that type of drive, and then I also create Mindset's Critical. I spend half hour every morning brainwashing myself. And I use the term very direct. I do brainwash because everybody else is brainwashing me. Social media is brainwashing me. People I come in contact. Everything I'm listening to is definitely influencing me. So I need to make sure that I'm putting
the right stuff in.
Right. That's it. The hardcore good stuff in. And that includes affirmations, and that includes ideas that I know that work. And I'll tell you, agents, if you don't have a sense of urgency, then you are going to have a rough ride.
Yeah.
So you're going to be inconsistent. So what I do every morning is I think to myself, when am I most, Kathy, when I need no motivation at all, when I'm like in the zone. Well, a perfect example is when a speeding car is coming at me and across the street. I'm going to get out of the way. I'm not going to think. I'm not going to play. My back hurts. I'm going to run faster than I've ever ran in my life.
Yeah.
Because I have a sense of urgency to live. Now, I tell my team this, you have to find that why. You have to create that why that brings you to life, that drives you. And that sense of urgency is, if I could share what I washed my brain with, I said, look, Frank, if you do not work and give 100% today, and if you don't minimize your distractions today, you're going to fail today. And if I start compounding failure, I said, my bank account will dwindle and I will lose my house. I will lose my cars. I will lose my properties. I will lose my family. I will lose everything.
You know, like I'm saying everything in the affirmative, like this is exactly what I'm going to do. I'm going to give this. I'm going to empower these people. My license plate's called Empowered. My whole focus is reprogramming the negative that's coming at me nonstop and saying it. I'm reversing it, because your subconscious is so powerful. It believes what it's told and what we tell it. Yeah,
I do a lot of positive affirmations. And I also do this sense of urgency thing because it works for me. So, and that's the key. So, see, what's cool is that we're all wired differently and we have different languages that set us off.
Right.
If I tell myself, if I don't work today, my kids won't eat, I will run through 100 brick walls without even thinking, because that is my life and that is my joy. And so I do everything for my family. I mean, it's not debatable. So I found my triggers. So you need to find your triggers. What makes you go hard, fast, consistently? You need to have us do a serious audit of your life and be goal driven. 95% of the people base their decisions and actions, the feelings in a moment. I don't, Kathy, I base it on goals.
Yeah.
Right?
I'm sure you did your business plan already for the year.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
So I've been working on it this week, and I had ChatGPT help me a lot because I'm a big fan of ChatGPT.
That's awesome.
So I asked it to ask me 25 questions about where I thought next year was going to go. And here's what I wanted, and ask me all the questions and now help me design my business plan. So it comes up with 25 questions, and how you replay that back in case you're not using ChatGPT is you just say, number one, here's the answer. Number two, you do it all at once. And I said, here's the answer to those 25 questions. If you got more, ask me more. It asked me 6 more. So now it's got the whole thing. I said, okay, now design my business plan based on everything that I said. It does. I'm looking at it and I'm thinking it's okay. And then I'm on Facebook and I see a woman I know who her first year in a business, she did $500,000 in gross commissions. Rock star. Now this was back in 2016. But then she said, I'm going to double that next year. And so she manifested, much like you were just talking about. She visualized what she wanted. She went. Now, of course, you don't just sit back and it doesn't just happen. It's focus, it's commitment, and it's going and doing the steps, right? But she said, I'm going for $1 million, and she did $1.1 million. And I said, you know what? Wow. Went back to ChatGPT and I said, I set my sights too low. I said, I want you to double what I said, but I want you to break it down now into weekly and daily tasks of what I need to do to accomplish that. And remember that cold calling? Well, I didn't want to do it. It's full of it, damn it. And so I realized I can be a high I who doesn't want to do it, but the reality is I need to do it to achieve the goals that I want to do. And that's part of this business. You got to do what you don't want to do when you don't want to do it to get where you want to go to make it happen.
Yeah,
and so,
do it. I love it. Do it no matter how you feel.
Yeah.
It's like I go to the gym 3 times a week. I don't feel like going 3 times a week. So maybe once in a while I do. guess what? I go because that's my goal, not because that's how I feel. I eat like today. I ate like crazy healthy. I do it. But do I want pizza? Do I want all the other fun stuff? Yeah. But you know what? I do it. I eat healthy, and before I walk, if I go eat in a restaurant, I know already what I'm going to order, and it's not negotiable. I eat healthy so that I feel better. I have better energy. I can better work and play with my kids. I mean, everything. So anything you do in life, you have to be goal driven. And to these agents out there, you will continue to fail your way out of the business if you don't set goals for 2025 and you don't focus on them. You cannot focus on your feelings. Look, your money is tied into your activities here. You know, Kathy, I said this to my agents today. I said, hey, this is a 9-to-5 job and you get a paycheck for $5,000 a week. But you have to make, X amount of phone calls. You have to do X amount of hours of lead gen. I said, how many of you would do that? And I said, I bet every one of you in the room would do it. So the problem here is we don't have those things to help us. So you need to find out, how can you mimic that type of accountability? How can you mimic that? And that's where I go back to my sense of urgency thing. So we have the freedom to do whatever we want to do. And we don't have the necessarily like what a 9-to-5 job has, the requirements that they do. So it's easier. If we don't want to work today, if we don't show up to work for a 9-to-5 job, we get fired. Here, it doesn't matter because I can't follow my team and we don't meet in one place. So even individual agents, there's no accountability for showing up by the company. So that is a problem. So the issue is you have to self-manage. You have to learn as an agent how to self-manage, and I like what you're doing, Kathy, setting your goals up for 2025 and then have your plan, know your numbers cold and track your numbers. And because a lot of times myself, if I'm not looking at my numbers, I might start doing other things that are not ROI producing activities, and it easily can. So the other thing I do, Kathy, is at the end of every day, I ask myself, what did I do right? What did I do wrong today? And did I hit my numbers? What got in the way? If I didn't hit my number, what got in my way? Just real simple. What got in my way? And it could be an event. It could be, this fire came in, which prevented me. Okay. That's fine. Then tomorrow I double up on my production to prospecting. Or if it was, I got sidetracked doing stuff I shouldn't have done. I spent too much time on Facebook, so I did whatever. And I'm just as guilty as anybody else. That's not going to happen tomorrow. So I need to double up on if I did half of my prospecting, then I'm going to double up on it tomorrow. Because the one thing is consistency leads to numbers. Numbers leads to conversions. And conversions leads to dollars, and dollars leads to your goals. It's a very clear system. Once you start tracking your numbers and you get comfortable with it, and you don't need to buy expensive programs like Sisu or you can just use a Google Drive, just put it on a Google sheet, and but you got to do it every day. The other thing I learned with people on my team is if they put their numbers on every week, then they make the stuff up. Monday I made 50 calls, and Tuesday I think I made like 200 calls.
We're just guessing to fill in the numbers.
Guessing doesn't pay the bills.
No.
So being accountable, self-accountable, and then I review it once a week with everybody. But you need to be as an agent to drive. So you see how how this is different than post-COVID. With all the stuff falling off the trees. This is, somebody asked me, what is a real estate agent? I'm telling you what a real estate agent does. If you don't want to do prospecting, get out of real estate or be part of the back office. Maybe you belong in a back office. Do your personality test. If you test high S, high C, you are not wired. You are not designed to be an agent. You will burn out. You may be attracted. Most SCs say, I want to make that money, baby. Yeah, let's get that money. And then they get in it. They're like, can I help the admins with this?
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, no, you're an agent. I mean, why would you want to do it? And then why are you doing all this admin work when I've got 2 admins for you? What I said, so that's when I started realizing, I said, let's do a disc test. And I'm like, you're an SC, man. All right, you're fired in so many words. But, there's one that I actually hired off of that and made her an admin because she was so good. But yeah, a lot of these other ones had to go, man. And
they're a good admin because they've been trained in real estate. They've been in a real estate office. They make a great admin.
Facts.
Yeah.
So, and another thing too, pro tip, do not hire a high I for your secretary.
Oh,
for your
no.
admin. She will destroy your business. She'll just, keep, yep. A 2-minute phone call is a 20-minute phone call to high I. That's their definition of 2 minutes. So imagine how ineffective you're going to be.
Right. Yeah, I know. Well, this has been great. I really loved having you on, Frank. So we had many nuggets in here, which was my goal for the agents, because, we're really talking about 2025. You got to have grit. You got to have a focus. You got to have that plan. But you got to track it. That's something I never did. And that was also something I put in my whole business plan. I want to track it.
Game changer.
Because I'm an ID, so the D's there. Thank God. And it's close, but my I leads. But it's funny, your personality do change through life. I mean, you evolve where you have some strengths. My C was invisible. I had no C, but I need a C in my life because I need that order. And that's what a C brings. The S was small too, but the bottom line,
makes sense. You got a low S personality.
Yeah.
I can tell you're very in touch with your feelings and stuff. Yeah, you definitely. I can tell right away you're a low S.
Yeah. Well, and I think the bottom line is, I think you've got to do personal development. I'm a big believer of listening to the audibles. Get all these books. I'm listening to a marketing that Sirhan has got it about branding yourself. And actually, the other thing that's really important for an agent today is you've got to be visible. Like you just said to me, I don't know why I just got blurry. Get closer. You've got to be visible in social media today, because if you're not visible, you're invisible. The way our technology has taken us, we have got to be there in front of everybody.
That's great.
I think there was a lot of nuggets here. I hope everybody picked them up. I'm excited to have the King of South Side.
Yep, the King of the South Side, baby.
King of South Side, yeah. All right. And thanks so much, Frank. It's been wonderful.
Thanks, Kathy.
You and your family have a Merry, Merry Christmas.
Back at you. Thank you. And to all the agents out there too, happy holidays and crush it in 2025.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Thank you. So thanks for joining me on this episode of Real Estate Riches. Wasn't that great? I'm sure you got a nugget or two. I know I did. So if you liked it, please subscribe below, share it with everybody, make some comments. We really find that invaluable. And if you're thinking that you would love to talk about this a little bit more, let's schedule a business strategy call. I'll have the link below. Let's see if we can't mastermind together and see if we can empower each other. That would be great. So until next time, signing off. Hope to see you on the next one.